Hello there, this is a teaching coming to you from the Training Place of Excellence, and it is on flexible budgets and variances. When we say flexible budgets, we're literally just saying you have a budget that you set up previously. Now, an actual performance has taken place. We want you to compare like for like and try to identify what are the variances. So if you set up your budget previously for 2,000 units, for example, and when you've actually sold and completed the transactions, you've sold 2,500 units. Why do you want to compare your original budget as you had set it up maybe last year, a year ago, 2 years ago? Comparing it with what you have actually delivered, which will be different in quantity. So we want you to do what we call flexible budgets. We know you aimed at selling 2,000 units, but you have actually sold 2,500 units. So compare what would your budget be if you had set it for 2,500 units, comparing it to what is your actual performance at 2,500 units. That is to say, let us compare like for like. Let's look at this question. It says, IXT Limited has prepared a forecast for one of its products. The budget was set for 1,200 units to be sold, but 1,800 units were actually sold. Complete the table below and calculate the flexible budget and the variance for the quarter, where the production overhead is fixed. So we have our production overhead there, and that is fixed. We then need to look at how do I actually go about flexing this budget. In flexing the budget, I have to go with my original budget, which I set as 1,200 units. Find the cost of one unit and multiply it by what is your actual activity level. Your actual activity level is 1,800 units. So I want to then convert my £47,400, which was for 1,200 units, and compare like for like. If it was 1,800 units, what would it have been? And in order to do that, you need to find the cost of one, which literally will be 47,400 divided by 1,200, which will give me my cost per unit, which we have as £39.50. You then multiply that by your actual activity level to give you the answer that needs to be in the flex budget sales revenue box. And that should lead me to that figure. So that implies to me that I have found the cost of one product that you are selling. I multiply by 1,800 units that I actually sold, and that will be my flex budget. And you're going to do the same thing across everything coming through, except any semi-variable costs and any fixed cost. In this question, they are given to you, or they are telling you, complete the table below and calculate the flexible budget and the variance for the quarter where the production overhead is fixed. So I need to be careful. We've inserted in there direct materials. The cost for one unit for direct materials will be £14.60, and that I would expect to have been calculated by simply doing 17,520 divided by 1,200. And that gives me the £14.60 that is in them. You then multiply that by 1,800, and that should give you the answer that you need for your materials box. Okay, so that is 26,280. Then you get to direct labor. You're going to do exactly the same thing. £15,000 divided by 1,200 should give you your cost per unit, which is £12.50, and then you multiply that by 1,800 units, which should then give you the figure that you need to drop into there. When we come to the production overheads, notice they've given me the cost per unit there. That is 10,500 divided by 1,200 units, I believe. 8.75 I'm getting. But do bear in mind that the question has said the overhead is fixed. So fixed costs are costs that don't change no matter the activity level you're delivering at. So I will still have £10,500 in there. Total cost will be the addition of your costs. So 26,280 plus 22,500 plus 10,500. And that leaves me the flex budget completed. Then we talk about the variances. For the variances, you are just looking for what is the difference between my actual performance activity level and figures or cost and income compared to the flexed budget at the same activity level, all my income and expenses of the costs. Get the difference, and that will be delivered as the variance. Very commonly, we will then be stipulating whether the variance is adverse or favorable. So you will be expected to then deliver 71100 minus 69930, which should give us 1170. And you should notice that your budget was set for £71,100, but you only attained £69,930. So that is an adverse variance. I usually like to say, if we send you to the market to buy some sugar and we tell you to buy 10 kilos, if you're able to go to the market and buy the 10 kilos for £2, compared to the £3 we asked you to spend, then you have saved us some money, which is good. When we say to you to go and spend £3 and you spend £4, not good. The same thing applies with income, vice versa. When we say to you generate money, the more you generate, the better. So if we say to you generate £71,100, but you generated £69,930, that is, you generated a little less. It is an adverse variance. If you generated more, then hey, well done, hooray. It will be a favorable variance, and that is for income. You flip it around for expense. So we're getting the difference between 25,560 and 26,280, which leaves me with £720. Again, notice we asked you to spend £26,280, but you managed to spend £25,560 to make the same quantity of product. So we're saying, oh, well done, you saved us some money. So it's a favorable variance. The same thing applies all the way down. You were supposed to spend £22,500 on labor, but you spent £23,490, and that's was spent too much or a little too much. Not good, an adverse variance. And exactly the same thing with your overheads. Then my cost, I'm looking at £59,280 that you're supposed to spend, but you actually spent £60,150, which is a little too much. So when you're supposed to spend £59,280, you spent £60,150. That is an adverse variance. So we'll find the difference and it will be an adverse variance. I hope this has been useful. Please bear in mind, we're flexing our budget and we're also calculating the variance. In flexing the budget, your variable cost per unit is found and then you multiply it by the quantity. Just remember that when you have fixed cost or semi-variable cost, we do not divide by the quantity, original quantity, and multiply by the new quantity. You don't do that. That applies to variable cost. And what you're trying to do there is to find the variable cost per unit, then multiply it by your actual quantity. I hope it's been useful. The rest of it is keep studying. Don't forget, if this has been useful, hit the subscribe button and follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you. Adios. See you later.